7. Now let's move on. How far would you go to prove to your child that you're proud of them? We'd all probably go to great lengths, wouldn't we? But one dad on Merseyside wants to put his money where his mouth is and walk the distance of Land's End to John O'Groats. Neil Atherton from Rainhill wants to show his 16-year-old son Alex just how proud he is of him for coming out. And I'm pleased to say that I'm joined by both of them now. Neil, we'll say good morning to you. How you doing, Neil? All right?
Good morning, yes. Thank you. I'm very well, thanks, yeah.
Thanks for joining us. And hello to Alex. How you doing, Alex?
Hi, yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Right, Neil, we'll start with you. Tell us about the moment that Alex told you about his sexuality, and how did you feel, first of all?
Well, he would probably want me to point out that he's nearly 23 now. So
yeah.
He did come out when he was 16 to us at home. My wife and I. How did I feel? I can't say that it was a great shock, but it does make you reevaluate certain things. About, it didn't really matter to us. Alex, it was the same. We still loved him just the same.
Alex, from your point of view, was it something that you'd been building up to for a while, telling your parents about it? And how did you feel, when it came to the moment that you were going to do it?
I mean, sort of, but I didn't actually plan it. It just kind of came out in a conversation. And I think it was like my mum actually asked me rather than me saying it outright. So it wasn't that I planned it, but I kind of knew I was going to about that time because I'd already come out to my friends at that point. But I also, I wasn't that worried about my parents not being accepting because I knew what they were like and that they weren't gonna, they weren't gonna care really.
Yeah.
And I was glad that that was the case. So, I was very lucky in that respect.
When you told your parents or when they asked you, what was your overriding emotion then, once you knew that they knew?
It was anxious, I guess, very anxious and nervous just because it's I think for a lot of queer and gay kids, it's like a thing you kind of keep hidden for a long time, and then it's something you build up inside yourself. So then when it finally does come out, it's a lot of emotion. But I was luckily relaxed pretty quickly once it was out. But yeah, it is quite a scary moment, even when you know that necessarily they're going to be okay with it. It can, it's still quite scary.
Yeah, and Neil, from your point of view as a parent, was the first thing you wanted to do was really to reassure Alex that it didn't change anything? Was that what was on your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Without obviously being over the top about it. We were glad he felt he could talk to us about it. So that was one thing, and very quickly, his concerns turned to what the rest of the family were going to think. So, we were able to sort of be with him through that.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about your relationship, actually, that, he could be so open with you. Why then, Neil, did you decide to physically put in all these miles?
Well, I've got to admit that initially it was a selfish thing. There's not a lot of good news out there at the moment. It's all a bit grim, and I was looking for a challenge. So I thought about doing it just for fun, and I thought, no, that's what an opportunity. And I thought, who would I like to fundraise for? So I did a little bit of research. I found this group, this charity, Just Like Us, and they go into schools and colleges. I work in a college, so it was sort of close to my heart. So they go into colleges and they work with the young people there. They empower them. They recruit ambassadors that go into schools and colleges. They're a very active group, and I just thought, why not do it for them?
Yeah, Fantastic. And Alex, were you expecting this huge reaction from your dad?
Not really, but I didn't think, like, I didn't really think of it as something he was doing for me necessarily. It's just I knew that he was going to do, like, well, I didn't actually know he was going to raise money for a charity. So then when I saw the charity he picked, I was, like, obviously quite touched by it. But I didn't think it was some sort of gesture to me, because that's just who my dad is. Like, he's always kind of cared about LGBT rights, and so to me it wasn't like, you know, a big kind of shock or anything. But I was very touched by it, and that's why I then went and shared it on Twitter, because I also wanted to, you know, get more donations as well. So.
Yeah, and the research, the charity that your dad mentioned there is Just Like Us, and research by that charity suggests that young people are still facing high levels of homophobic remarks, which, to be honest, shocked me a little bit. Does it shock you or not really, that stat, Alex?
No, not really. To be honest, I think kids can be mean, and it's typical for anyone who's different to get bullied in school. I think it's particularly still bad with trans children, more so than you know, gay, lesbian, bisexual. So I think that's more of an issue currently. And I can't relate to, you know, how trans children have grown up, because that's totally different to, like, growing up gay. But so I just think it's great, like, what this charity does, and that it, you know, works directly with schools to kind of improve education around the whole area. So yeah, I think it's definitely better than it used to be, especially considering sexuality. But it doesn't surprise me that it still exists. Like, I think it's always going to exist in a way. You know, sort of people having stereotypes and bullying and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think there's definitely been progress. So.
And Neil, obviously it's a bit difficult, isn't it, going from Land's End to John O'Groats at the moment. So how are you going to do this challenge?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm doing it virtually, of course. I'm not down in Cornwall now, but I am virtually. I'm sort of on the cusp of Dartmoor, heading towards Exeter. I'm about 70 plus miles in. So I'm heading towards Exeter and then on to Taunton. So I'm walking every day, and then I log my mileage against an app. That shows up on my Just Giving page. So if anybody wants to contribute, they can do that.
Do they just go to Just Giving and search for yourself? Is that the best thing to do?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what? I've not tried it.
Right. Well, you're Neil Atherton, aren't you? So I think if people search for Neil Atherton, they'll probably be able to find you, or maybe just Like Us, which is the charity. Well, good luck, Neil. I hope it doesn't snow, and all the very best. And Neil and Alex, thanks both of you very much for talking to me.
Thanks very much for your time.
Cheers. Take care. Bye bye. And that charity once again is called Just Like. 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 Once again is.